What if the most enduring legends of our world are not myths but a hidden history, one where we are the unnatural ones? Hong Kong, 1935. Inside an unassuming apothecary, a paleontologist named Dr. Gustav von Königswald makes a purchase that would upend history. The items, sold as dragon teeth, were actually the massive molars of a creature science had forgotten. His research revealed the Gigantopithecus, an ape standing 10 feet tall and weighing 1,000 pounds. It was the true king of the prehistoric jungle. So does its lineage simply end in a fossil record? Or could stories of a giant, elusive bipedal creature be its living descendant? The popular theory is direct, that Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or the Yeti could be the last remnants of this gigantic primate. The skull structure tells a story. Unlike modern apes, Gigantopithecus had immense ridges to anchor jaw muscles of incredible power, a design for a creature with formidable strength but a modest brain cavity. But this presents a profound puzzle. Compare it to us. The human skull is smaller, with a delicate jaw, yet a vastly expanded cranium. How do two related primates diverge so extremely in their very architecture? What force could account for such a radical split? Why are we, in comparison, relatively hairless and possess minds of such staggering complexity? Is the standard evolutionary path the whole story? Or does the true anomaly in this family tree sit in this chair, watching this screen? What if the so-called missing link isn't a fossil, but an event, an intervention? Because if we evolved naturally, some pieces don't fit. For eons, we were covered in fur. Then suddenly, we weren't. For millennia afterward, we shivered, relying on the skins of other animals for warmth. The timeline feels edited. Could our deep past hold a different origin? One where our ancient forebears were, in a sense, visitors from beyond our star? Theorists suggest entities often called the Greys may have encountered primal, robust humanoids already on Earth. Through genetic fusion, they refined the raw material. They spliced their own blueprint with that of the terrestrial hominid. This would shatter the smooth progression taught in textbooks. Observe Neanderthal, Australopithecus, Cro-Magnon. The elusive jump between a primitive hominid and modern sapiens might remain forever unfound because it wasn't a gradual step. It was a deliberate splice. Are we then a species with dual citizenship? Part Earth, part something else? And if that is humanity's secret, what does that make the other legendary hominids? And if that is humanity's secret, what does that make the other legendary hominids? Could creatures like Bigfoot be the original unaltered lineage? The ones who avoided or escaped that ancient laboratory? Sumerian lore speaks of gods finding an ape-like being and deciding to put their mark upon it, to create a servant in their image. What if that ape-like being was not a metaphor, but a real, biological template? The legend of Sasquatch, then, might be the story of Earth's native heirs, hiding from their engineered successors. We might not be the owners of this world, but its inheritors. This frames their legendary elusiveness in a chilling new light. They aren't hiding from us out of primal fear. They are hiding from what we represent. This narrative echoes globally. From the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest to the high Himalayas, cultures separated by oceans share tales of giant, hairy, wild men. When a story is this universal, it ceases to be mere folklore. It becomes a potential testimony. But what of other legendary beasts? Elizabeth Lake, California. A barren landscape straddling the San Andreas Fault. Spanish settlers named it Laguna del Diablo, the Devil's Lake. Folklore claimed a portal to the underworld lay in its depths, and from it, a devil's pet would emerge. In the 19th century, ranchers told of a monstrous bird that harassed livestock, a thunderbird with metallic skin, impervious to bullets. This description mirrors another account from Tombstone, Arizona. Was this a surviving prehistoric raptor? Was this a surviving prehistoric raptor, or was it something else entirely? Witnesses spoke of thunderous noise and eyes that seemed to blaze. A colossal winged form, louder than any natural creature. To a pre-industrial mind, how would you describe a sleek, roaring craft with piercing lights? You would use the only vocabulary you had: a giant, metallic bird. This is cultural tracking, the idea that unexplained phenomena are interpreted through a culture's existing lens. Ancient China saw flying dragons. Romans reported flying shields. To the Native Americans of the Southwest, the first airplanes were metal birds. Could the Thunderbird legend be an ancient encounter with a vehicle, not a beast? The past is a story told in the language of its witnesses. What other monsters might be misunderstood technology? Our oldest written stories already contain these enigmas. The Epic of Gilgamesh from ancient Mesopotamia features Enkidu, a hairy giant wild man living apart from society. The text explicitly states the gods fashioned him. Could this be a textual fossil of that genetic intervention? A record of the before model? Even the biblical Goliath fits a pattern. A giant, fearsome being used as a weapon. Scholars ponder if these are fragmented memories of engineered beings or surviving specimens of Earth's original dominant species. And the mysteries extend beneath the waves. Loch Ness, a vast, dark, and deep Scottish lake, has been home to sightings of an aquatic monster since the 6th century. Saint Columba himself is said to have confronted it. Could a population of ancient reptiles like plesiosaurs have survived in isolation? Possibly, but intriguingly, the area also has a long history of another kind of sighting, strange lights hovering over the water. This confluence of the prehistoric and the potentially extraterrestrial is provocative. Is Nessie a leftover dinosaur? Or could it be something not from our past, but from elsewhere? From the Hydra of Greek myth to the world-spanning Leviathan, tales of sea serpents and multi-headed beasts persist. The Kraken of Norse legend was said to be so vast it could drag ships into the deep. These are not subtle creatures. They are ecological anomalies. Were they genetic experiments gone awry? Or are they, like the Thunderbird, simply the best interpretation our ancestors could muster for something utterly beyond their understanding? Perhaps even living machines or biological probes from a distant world? The evidence is not in a single fossil or one eyewitness account. It is in the pattern, the global consistency of the stories, the biological puzzles we can't fully solve, the gaps in our own origin story. Science rightly demands physical proof, and that search continues. But perhaps the proof has been whispering to us for millennia, encoded in the legends we call fantasy. The question we are left with is not just, do these creatures exist? But rather, if they do, what does their existence say about us? If this exploration of our hidden past resonated with you, help Wines of Thought delve deeper. Please like this video and subscribe for more journeys to the edges of understanding.